Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Oh, hello. Hello, and how the heck are you? I was going to come out and say, how the hell are you? H-E double toothpicks. I remember when I used to watch MASH back in the day, Colonel Potter would come on and go, H-E double toothpicks. That's how he would say the word hell. But how the heck are you? Because this is a family show. Well, I guess it could be. Don't let your family, don't torture your family by letting them be here on this program here today, ladies and gentlemen. But seriously, how you doing out there? It is what is today? Today is the 12th. Is it the 12th already? The 12th of July in the good year 2023. I am Pete Palma. Hello and welcome once again to Operation Status Quo, where of course we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then we create our own flow of quo because that's the only way to go. So anyway, I hope if you haven't checked out yesterday, I had a great interview with Chris Reck of Minnow Pond Tarot. He has a channel on YouTube, successful, so nice guy, and we had some good conversation. So that's fun if you'd like to go back and check that out. And for anybody who watches on a regular basis and missed me on Monday, I did attempt to do a show on Monday, but unfortunately my computer wasn't agreeing with me, and I was a little bit, overall this week, I have to say my energy level's just been a little bit lower than normal. I'm not like, sad, as it were. Let me see. Let me go over here. I'm not sad. No, I know. I don't mean to be. I don't want to be sad. I know, please. All right. I apologize. I'm going down the path already. Hey, you know what I love, honestly, the most about doing the show and everything is I just like it to be fun and a place to, chit chat and stuff. Like I say, this is a space where we don't take things too seriously. We just kind of observe the world and find our way through it and find the way that we can be our best selves during these changing times and such. But anyway, back to Monday. I did go on, but the computer didn't agree with me. So, I started doing the show and then I got messed up and I just wasn't in the mood to go back and do it all over again. Because, if I'm coming to you, the beautiful people out there, I have to be pure in my heart, right? I have to, feel good and happy inside. How can I convey love and happiness to you if it's not circling within the realms of my inner being, which it is right now, which is very convenient for all of us. So I'm glad that you're here and I'm glad to be here, and let's get on with it. So today's episode is entitled Thrive or Survive. And, I just kind of thought of this concept. Anyone who watches a lot of what I do, of course, I talk about work at certain times. I'll say this, it's been one of the topics I've talked about kind of off and on for a good amount over the last couple months in a way. And most of it really is just because of as I'm going through whatever changes in this world and, understanding myself better and being real with myself of what I'm looking for to feel productive, to feel useful and all that type of thing has made me question a lot of the way I worked in the past and what I considered work or anything like that. And, I'm trying to find my way to be my best self so that I can put myself out every day in a way of helping others and, of course, meeting the needs that I need to meet as far as going to the grocery store. So it's really just kind of why we're talking about it, because I think a lot of people are in that situation, right? I mean, people would always say, I don't want to work or whatever, but the truth is if you really are living from your heart and doing what kind of comes naturally to you, then, nothing's really considered work. I mean, even jobs that you would think are horrible jobs, I don't know, you wouldn't say horrible, but jobs that you would say, well, who could, be, what kind of person in their heart is it to go, be a trash collector or a roofer or, something like that, these kind of hard, more, difficult labor type jobs, right? But the truth is, maybe you're a person that just likes to, there's so many scenarios that doing that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily mean, you're you don't like it, right? I'm just saying, even like driving a UPS truck or something, maybe you like being out all day long, and you get your exercise, you're driving around delivering packages. I don't think anything. I always say this here: nothing is good or bad, right or wrong. It's just kind of more so about the confines of the way our society is set up, our structure, that kind of puts people in a position of, like, even stuff like UPS, or if you had a job with the U.S. Postal Service, like, they're watching everywhere you are, the car or the truck, whatever you're driving, is GPSed, and they know how long you were in, how long you stopped, how long you're out, how long you're in and out of the truck, how long you stopped, all this kind of stuff. And then they're on you for, those guys are working crazy hours, right? So, I mean, that's what I'm saying too. That's why I look forward to the robots personally. I know people don't want to lose their jobs, but wouldn't it be better just to have the robots? Like, let's give it over to the AI a little bit, people. Let's, wouldn't it be better for the robots to do the roofing, the landscaping, delivering packages, picking up trash, and, all that kind of stuff, so that, like, people don't have to, like, be under the gun all day, and you're always in trouble if you do something wrong or whatever happens. You missed a stop, or you were out of the truck too long and you got in trouble. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that I'm getting to today by talking about thrive or survive, because I find, and again, I know that most of this really comes from, just the culture, right? Because that's how our society is programmed, that everything is so competitive and whatnot. And everybody's always looking like, that's what I really don't like about it. And this is what I'm talking about today when I say thrive or survive, because the environment is created for people to feel like fearful, in a sense. And especially in an office, like corporate, whatever type environment like that, where, they're looking for, everybody wants to be a mover and a shaker, and, move up the ladder, become management, and blah, 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 and all these type of things. And, I just feel like, people kind of, stab each other in the back, right? I mean, I'm just going to this is kind of what inspired this whole line of thought, really, was I was talking with a friend of mine who was a coworker of mine in my previous job before I moved to Florida, and was telling me the story of an employee there who I know, a good worker, and I guess now with the work from home stuff and the way it all has been going on, they're only in the office a day or two a week, whatever they're in the office, but. And I don't know. Long story short, this guy was doing work out of this restaurant, I guess. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to get all the super details, but, he was at this kind of restaurant where he likes to go to. And I guess he was working there instead of, like, I don't know if he was supposed to, because technically if you work from home, your office space is considered your address, your home address. So technically you're not allowed to just go sit outside somewhere else. Like, you're supposed to either be in your house, I guess, like, or which is your duty location, or your actual physical duty location of being in the office. So I don't know what the parameters were, if he was supposed to be working from home or if he was supposed to be in the office. But long story short, he was working from this restaurant, I guess he liked to go to, and getting all his work done and doing what he had to do. Maybe the guy just likes to eat and hang out. I don't know, right? But he's getting his work done, like, so who cares? But long story short, and long story even longer, because that's the way I go, this guy got spotted by another employee. I don't know how it all turned out, but that employee went to one of the bigger bosses, went around my friend, who was this other employee's supervisor, the immediate supervisor of the person going to the restaurant. That's my friend. Then went around that person to a higher boss, and that person went and spied on the person at the restaurant. And this guy who went and did the spying was like, he's getting close to 60 years old, right? And he's like some kind of division head thing, so he's got a bigger position, but he's spying at this guy to catch him in the act at the restaurant. And then next thing you know, this younger guy is getting in trouble, and human resources, and, they're, all this back and forth and blah, blah, blah. And I guess the story in itself just really kind of bothered me, because I felt like, I know the guy that got in trouble, and he's like a nice guy, and he gets his work done, and he's a good worker, and whatever he asks him to do, he gets it done. And like, so what's the difference in a restaurant? It's not even like the old days, like before COVID, when everybody was just in the office, all the time. And, and even back then, some of these guys now that point fingers at other people, I mean, they took a lot of long lunches and went to see their buddies at another office, and they would be gone half the day. day on a Friday and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the point is, like, it's human nature, and this is what people do. You're not, no one's going to, let's be real, right? No one's going to just sit at a computer and work like 8-10 hours a day, straight up. I mean, and human nature, you want to go out and do other things and actually enjoy life a little bit, right? But the environment is not conducive to it. And I find it so frustrating that people, like, in that position, instead of just having a conversation with somebody or, whatever, I mean, just like to even care, right? Like, that's what I mean. Like, this is what gets me about the environment in general. And I would think maybe you don't see this as much in, like, construction, or again, going back to roofing or something. Like, these guys are just like working, right? You're all up on the roof and you're, pounding nails into the roof. I mean, I guess if you sit there and one guy's not doing anything, if he's just sitting on the edge of the roof, on his phone, I guess you just, push him off. Yeah, maybe they police themselves that way. But in the office, especially, the office environment, people are generally miserable, right? Nobody really wants to be there. No one really wants to do the work because the work is not even real work. It's like, just a bunch of nonsense paperwork, most of it. I mean, depending on what you do or where you are, but really it's all just kind of fluff. And, everything's about covering your ass, right? And that's what I put here, like in the notes below in the description. It's just like, everybody's spending their day, most of their day, just covering their ass, right? Make sure you answer the email. Make sure you reply to the phone call, or they give you a deadline, and make sure this, or if somebody was supposed to send you something, now you're behind on your part of the task, make sure you note it and send it to somebody else, and then you got to copy everybody on an email and say, oh, I'm still waiting for this document, and it's just all this, like, all the time is being spent of like, oh, what were you supposed to do, and what was he supposed to do, and how come is it my fault, and instead of actually saying, okay, this is the task, let's get it done and go on to other things. For me personally, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been this way. I'm not adverse to whatever needs to get done. I get it. We're in a physical world. Sometimes, you just got to, pound the nails and screw in the screws and, tighten up the bolts. I mean, that's just part of, like, the 3D world. You actually got to do some physical thing at some time. Maybe you got to sign a document, whatever, but at the end of it, like, let's just, like, be practical, right? Let's be practical and, like, efficient and get things done and give people the opportunity to go on to do other things. It's like, I'm not blaming, like, the people, right? Individual. I mean, because again, it comes down to, I mean, really, this is just another symptom of everything else that I talk about. The whole mainstream agenda that's designed to keep us in fear. We're always worried about how we're going to get in trouble, who's watching what we're doing, who's telling on you. It's just like, it's so, I don't know, it's very off-putting to me, I have to say, because I'm all about, like, being efficient personally. Like, I say, let's, I want to live from my heart. I want to follow what's, what do we need to get done? Let's figure it out, get it done, and then let's go out to the pool and go to the beach and have a good time. Let's have a good time. Everybody has a good time. I like a good time. Hey-o. And, truthfully, who doesn't? I mean, who wants to sit in the office all day and, or wherever you are and worry about, who's going to put you on the hook for something next. So this show, Thrive or Survive. And so what do you feel like you do in your day-to-day when it comes to work? I mean, sometimes we have to do jobs, right now, especially the way our world is, you have to put food on the table. You got a family, whatever, not everything's going to be, as my grandma used to say, it's not all peaches and cream, so sometimes you have to do shit you don't really like. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I just feel like, excuse me, like to encourage people to mitigate that in a way of like, because again, this is a time of being honest with ourselves overall in the world, right? As things progress and change, and the dynamics change of our societal structures. And it's really a great time to, instead of being fear-based and, trying to hold on to what you have, sometimes it might be better to let certain things go. That's not any sort of advice to go out and quit all your jobs out there. But, if you really don't like something and it doesn't resonate with you, then, I would suggest to, find what does resonate with you, because we all have talents and skills. I think I have a talent, but obviously here I am, and my talent is not being well utilized. I thought I was talented. Let me say that. But I'm realizing quickly that I just may not be. Hey-o. We have to have fun. We have to have a little fun with ourselves. But go in, look into your heart. What resonates with you to create, a space where, what you produce and what you do in your day-to-day life not only sustains you, but contributes and helps, society and such. Like, and even going back to, with the garbage man or whatever, even the roofing, I don't know, some people like being up on a roof pounding nails. I don't know. It seems like I was walking today and I saw a guy, and it's hot down here in Florida, by the way. And I saw these guys up there on the roof, and like, I'm just like, whew. And all these guys down here, I feel for them, like with the landscapers and all, I mean, and the roofers, they're all wearing long pants, long sleeve shirts, the hats on, their faces covered. I'm like, I don't even understand how, like, if it was me, I'd have to be hooked up to an IV for like 24/7. I'd be sweating so much. I wouldn't make it. I'd be like, I would roll right off that roof. I wouldn't last like 10 minutes probably. But some people like to do stuff like if maybe somebody's retired, and they don't mind driving the garbage truck around. Like, it's something fun to do and get out of the house. I'm just trying to say, right? There's a rhyme and reason to everything. But I guess I'll say it like this: whenever you feel forced, right, to do something, you feel like you're put in a position where you have to do something. I think that kind of puts people in a space of not being their best selves. I mean, I know for me, it's like I'm happy to do anything, but as soon as it comes down to a have to do, then it turns into like another thing for me. So even with the job, I worked my job for I've talked about 15 years, and I'm grateful for what it's given me, and as far as being able to excuse me, let me take a sip of water here very quickly if I could. But it has been good to me as far as allowing me to survive, because I was surviving. I wouldn't say I was thriving, that's for sure, because when I look back on it, I mean, the amount of time I spent sitting in misery, it's just, the only reason I can handle it now is because I'm working from home. If I had to be in an office, which I was before I took this job, I was in another job where I had to go to the office every day doing the same stuff, and that only lasted a few months. I was like, get the hell out of here. I said, can't do that anymore. So, so basically, I don't know, just kind of to wrap this up here, about thrive or survive, I encourage everyone, we all should thrive, and, I was kind of, I want to go down a road in a certain way of, chastising, because it does aggravate me the way, because I've experienced a lot in the office, even myself. I always tried to give ideas or, even just be myself. And that's what I really, really realized. I think that's what I'm trying to get to, is that, people aren't able to be themselves. And you're always got to put on some sort of persona of like, oh, this is my work persona. This is my take the kids to the soccer game persona. This is when I go hang out with the in-laws persona. And I don't know. I just don't believe in all that. I'm always me, anybody out there, if you ever reached out and spoke to me, you would see, you pretty much get the same what you're hearing here. Like, maybe it'd be a little better because, I'm doing a show and I'm thinking and my brain's going in a certain way. But really, I never try to hide anything. I want to be myself. I think everyone should be themselves. I don't think there's not any reason to hide who you are or, be yourself. And that's the truth of what got me in trouble all the time at work is, just because I was fun and, I always kind of looked at the work as secondary. I was more about having conversations with people and getting to know them, and everybody's so worried about getting everything done. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. This stuff always gets done. It does always get done because it's nonsense and not even real work. And, it's a shame because people are so afraid to not get in trouble and not lose their job and prove themselves in a world that's created for you to fail, right? That you wind up making yourself sick over trying to get crap done. And then you got people, even when you do a good job, like this guy that I was telling the story does do a good job. He's not even a bad worker. He shows up, gets his work done. Everything's fine. But because he's not, because he's sitting in a restaurant instead of in the office or wherever, now he's a big problem. And it's just like, it's like other people are just so jealous all the time and angry. They're angry at their position because they're not doing what they want to do. When they see somebody else doing kind of what they want to do, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to shut this down because why should he be happy in any capacity whatsoever if I'm miserable? So, that's pretty much what it comes down to. And I feel that's why I was attacked a lot the way I was, in my space. But it's okay. I don't even feel bad, or angry towards all that in my past of those people. I mean, because they're still there, right? They're still there and they're still miserable and still doing the stuff that they were doing. And, I've moved on and I'm looking at things in a different way. And that's what I encourage you to do. And that's what this program, Operation Status Quo, is all about, is to just kind of give space to think about things, reflect on things, and, find your way to move forward, whatever that may be for you in this life, right? Okay. So thrive or survive. Don't just survive. Don't go to work and just survive. Start thinking to yourself, unless you love what you do, that's great. If you love what you do, maybe you're a skydiving instructor, right? I mean, that's something fun. You love that. You jump out of the plane every day. You get to meet new people. People throw up on you probably. So it's probably, it's a wonderful, exciting job. But if you're sitting in an office all day and just hearing that clock go, and you're just staring at the clock, it's like 8:06. You sit there for like 45 minutes, and now it's 8:08. All day long. And then you sit there, and while the clock is ticking, you're trying to get into the systems in the computer, and you just watch it spin. You click the button, and then the circle starts spinning, and the screen is frozen, and it spins. Now it's 8:10. It's like, it really is torture. It's like, I think people in jail probably have a better day than people sitting in a cubicle doing office work. But so anyway, think about what you love to do, and if you don't want to do anything, that's fine too. I mean, I'm all about doing nothing overall. I don't really think anything's really that important. We should really, once we get to a space where, we're working with the earth a little better, and, food just grows, and, you don't have to worry about everything the way we do. A lot of good things are coming, I believe, as far as our societal structure changing. So it's just going to take the time that it takes to get there, but it doesn't mean we're all going to sit around and do nothing all day. I just think there'll be new things to do. Like, I think our life should be more engaged with our spiritual growth and our connections to source and our connection to one another and our abilities to enhance our compassion and love and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to, just keeping people under the gun, sitting in a cube, don't let anybody express themselves, under the fluorescent lights, all that kind of stuff. So, and again, of course, our mainstream society is designed for this. It's designed to keep us weak and separated and afraid and feeling in lack. If you don't like what you're doing, go. This is the time. This is the time to step out, break out, and, be who you want to be, live your best life, because, this is you. This is it. This is your time. And you see what's been going on in the world over these past few years, and it's time for everybody to make that conscious choice to say, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Hey-o. We shouldn't take it. We shouldn't take it. And that's about it. So just, don't just survive. Don't just go through your everyday, just scared to death getting by. You deserve more. So, get out there, be your best self, and you have talents. We all have talents, whatever it is. Just get into it, utilize it, create it, be it, live it, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'll let you know one day if it works. And if it works for me, maybe you'll believe it too and want to try it for yourself. But don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, because it's not about me. It's about you. You could, even if I fail, which I won't, but even if I did, you could. You don't have to, and you wouldn't, because you're trying. As long as you're trying, you're not failing. So it really doesn't matter. There's no ultimate outcome for anything. It's just about being aware and trying to move forward and grow. So, expand your consciousness. Don't let these people push you around, and find the space that you can be your best self. All right. So thank you for your time here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done so already, I would be so happy if it resonates with you to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. Click the little notification bell so you know when I go live, and you'll be able to chime chime in on the chat and be with me. You're always welcome on the chat. You're welcome to comment. You're welcome to send me messages. My contact information is in the description box below. You're welcome to participate and be on the show. You're also welcome to send me information of ideas that you would like for me to discuss on the show, which would be wonderful as well. So, yeah, that's about it for me today. Let me go back up over. I got to go back up over here so I can properly say goodbye to all you people out there. Thanks for being with me here today on Operation Status Quo. Ladies and gentlemen, stay strong, stay positive. I love you all. Till tomorrow. Operation Status Quo disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.